This is a Lucid Air Pure in stellar white. The interior color is called Mojave Pure Luxe, whatever that means. The wheels on the outside are not stolen from a Buick. These are the 19-inch Aero range wheels, and this gets, according to EPA.government, 410 miles of range. I've never driven a Lucid before. I asked one of the guys at the dealership if I could drive one and also film. He said absolutely not. But we finally got our hands on one. I got this from EV Access. So if you want to rent this or any other EV, Justin has an incredible fleet, and I'll have them linked down below. A little bit more on this vehicle. Now, normally the Air Pure is rear-wheel drive, but this has $5,500 of optional features. That includes the Mojave Pure Luxe, Pure Alcantara headliner, 19-inch Aero range wheels, and dual-motor all-wheel drive with semi-active dampers. That all brings the price of this to $94,550, and that's a lot. And the other thing I would tell you to do is, if you're interested in one of these, they have crazy lease deals going on, and honestly, I think that's probably the way to go. It's an interesting vehicle. As far as packaging goes, I was like, okay, this is a really long vehicle. Is it going to fit in the garage? And it fit in the garage perfectly, so I looked up the length. The length is basically identical to that of a Model S, but yet I thought it was the size of a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, and it's actually a foot shorter once I looked it up. What I just can't get over with these things is the look on the outside. I just feel like a lot of people are gonna look at this and say, I'd rather just have a gas-powered Mercedes-Benz. But the front of the car has a massive frunk. This is the key to the vehicle. I hate it. It does have a hidden button under the U and the C, so if I go click and hold, double click, hold. Okay, open up the trunk. I meant to open up the 3 clicks. One, two. Close the trunk in. There we go, baby. So it's 1, 2, 3, hold. Okay, guess it's not gonna open all the way for us. Manual labor is fine. So there is the sub trunk up front. So when you open this up, you then have a massive storage area there, and that is 10 cubic feet of storage. This is massive. In my opinion, any electric vehicle that does not have a frunk is just poorly engineered. I cannot stand that. They come up with all these excuses. Well, the this and that. It's like, so I opened up a Mercedes-Benz EQB, and it looked like it had a gas engine in it. So this is really well done by Lucid, as well as the trunk. Let's look at that now. Huge amount of space, and just the way that it's open for you to easily lay things in here. The one thing that isn't good is the way that this is already frayed with only 10,000 miles on it. So I don't know why that is frayed, but it is, and I don't like that. So you lift this up, and again, a ton of storage down here, more storage than the Model S and, you know, other BMWs that you would compare this to. It's just really well done in terms of how efficiently they used space. You have this button right here that powers that down and closes it up. Now into the back seat. I like how the door handles kind of pop up here, so that's nice. And I also put 3D mats in this. I had them send these out to me. These are the best floor mats that I've found for vehicles in general, and I have a discount code in the description. I highly recommend these, whether you own a Tesla, Lucid, Porsche, Toyota, whatever. My discount code works for all of them, and these mats just fit incredibly well, as you can see. So definitely check them out. They will be linked in the description. So a ton of space in the rear of this car. I am 6 feet tall. I set the front seat to my driving position. Look at this. I mean, it's insane. There's a foot in front of me here that I can actually lounge and relax. And keep in mind, this is a foot shorter than a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, yet I have this amount of space and I can get 400 miles of electric range. Alcantara headliner. It's not a panoramic roof, which I actually like that they can option it without that, because it seems like every electric vehicle feels like they have to make a glass roof because Tesla did. I guess before we go up front, we should take a look at this right here. Little screen in the back so you can set up. It has 3 climate zones, so 2 in the front, 1 in the back, and then you have this little storage space here. Heated seats in the rear, heated seats in the front, no cooled seats on this specific model. And you have air vents here, and you have air vents here. So you have a nice, we'll call it luxurious air vents in the back to cover your kneecaps here, and then your chest up here. So the other thing I really like that's ergonomic is the door handle open. I didn't even have to think about it the first time I got in the vehicle, because your index finger naturally falls to this and pulls it back and pops the door open. So I think they did a really nice job designing that. And the seats overall are very comfortable. Let's see what's in this. What do we got here? There you go. Pretty standard, with access to the trunk if you want to fit your skis in. I'm sure you could do that and lay them and cut up your nice leather. Let's get in the front seat. Now on to the interior of the Lucid Air up front. If you take this little arrow right here and you swipe up, that screen disappears and reveals this area, which is just more storage. Take your finger here and swipe down, and that comes back into play. I really like the material that they chose along the dashboard and along the door cards. Nice material there, seems to be pretty durable, and again, these are touch points, so your arm is going to be resting here, and it feels nice. You also have this wood grain here, nice leather steering wheel. It's a great steering wheel. Not a huge fan of these dials here. They don't feel good. This one is for volume. They feel kind of cheap. I don't think this is necessary. I think this could be re-engineered. This engages your dynamic cruise control. This engages lane keep assist, and this cancels all that. Last song, next song, microphone for Amazon Alexa. I just don't want to have Jeff listening to me. And then over here, this unlocks the charge port. You have this little screen here for lighting, charge port, defrost, all that type of stuff. Opens up the frunk or releases it. Some models do have a full release. This one does not for some reason. And then you have your power and charge here, depending if you're on or off the throttle. And you can see here we have 284 miles of range at like 77% charge. Overall, the infotainment system is fine. It's not as in-depth as I'd like it to be. Also, this display here, you have your drive modes that you can put it into, and then you have like themes, and I just feel like themes are a wasted use of resources. Like, how much time was spent choosing these 6 names and then having the software that I just don't know. And then is that worth the price tag of this being $100,000+ car in certain variations? I don't know. You tell me. The other interesting thing is when we go to seats, for example, it's kind of redundant. Like, you can set all of these positions, driver, passenger, whatever. You can just do that with these controls. So why would you dig around on the infotainment system when you naturally just go to these controls anyways? That just doesn't make too much sense to me. But I'm not an engineer, you know? I don't build cars. Lucid does. And these are also built in Casa Grande in Arizona, and I've driven by their facility a few times. It's a beautiful facility. I want them to work out. I just don't know if this is that appealing to that many people. So what we need to do now is actually drive the vehicle and see how it is. Another interesting thing about the Lucid, there's a button right here. It says glove box. So you hit that, it sounds like a deadbolt just opened up for a safe in a bank. Listen to this. Jesus. It's like, did we just hit a skunk? So anyways, that's kind of interesting. But yeah, let's take this thing for a drive. There's also wireless chargers down here. Your phone wedges into them. It seems like you need to actually take your phone case off for it to work appropriately. Mine says it's charging now. So we're gonna put it into Swift mode, which is in between smooth and sprint. Sprint is the really fast mode. So we're gonna take off here. It says 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. I can tell you it feels significantly faster than that. And the suspension is well done. So when you're in here, the first thing you're going to notice is the fact that it's kind of a squat. If you've ever been in a Chevy Camaro, it's a very squat windshield, and then this A-pillar here, it kind of creates a large blind spot if you're turning, trying to see something, a curb or whatever, kind of provides a beautiful blind spot for you. But overall, the driving experience, as far as the position, you do feel like you're in a futuristic vehicle. Let's get on in here. Okay, maybe it is 4.5 seconds, but it accelerates nicely. There's some wind noise coming out of here. I feel like something is not appropriately fitting, because there shouldn't be that amount of wind noise coming out of this thing. The other thing is the sound that the drivetrain makes. It kind of sounds like the Jetsons, like You can actually hear the electric motors constantly. Not the end of the world, but you would think for something that costs as much as this does and is targeting is targeting the Model S and Mercedes-Benz and BMW build quality, maybe you want to get those sounds out of the cabin. The display is nice. I find it a little bit confusing. It does have wireless Apple CarPlay, which is good. I just find that there's not a lot of depth to it, and these are cheap feeling. But other than that, it feels good. The steering wheel has a nice grip to it. I like how the car accelerates and drives. The suspension's well done. The sound isn't bad. I just think there's a seal that's not appropriately put on over there. It did take, so in the rental fleet, this got a broken windshield, and it took them, I think, 2 months to get it replaced. So that's kind of a problem. And I think there was minor software issues, but those have been resolved as well. So overall, the ownership experience for them renting this has been fine, and I'm actually enjoying driving it. But one of the weird things about the electric car world is that everyone's obsessed with what's the stock price, and this, and it's like, I don't know what the stock price of Honda or Mercedes is, or Porsche, you know what I mean? Like, so why is that obsession? Why does that matter? I just want the companies to build cars the best way that they can. The other thing that this has is the Dream Drive, I think it is. So we'll go ahead and engage. So we have our adaptive cruise on. So that's good. Whatever, it works, you know? What am I gonna say about that? And then we'll go ahead and cancel that. So the good things about this, the range is excellent. The efficiency of the vehicle is great. Everything was built around making really good use of the space in the vehicle. Lucid did an excellent job of that. I think the interior has nice materials in it. The leather feels really good. It's very comfortable. I could see a long trip in this being great. I don't have any information on how the car charges. I'm sure Kyle from Out of Spec has done about 1,200 videos analyzing that, so maybe check out his channel if you want to understand how it is on road trips. I'm just reviewing the car, how the materials are, how it feels, how it drives, and it delivers. It feels really nice. The sound system is good. I like the Alcantara roof liner. I like the materials that they use. I think the sound is nice in the car. I've said this is the third time me mentioning that the suspension is well done. I think the looks are not good. I think the wheels are terrible. I think the 20-inch wheels would be a better option, but if you're just maximizing for range and this is a utility vehicle that you're taking on road trips or daily driving and you want that extra comfort and range, then go with the 19-inch wheels. That's, you know, looks are subjective. That's up to you, whoever's paying for the vehicle. But I would go and look on their website at the lease deals on these. I think that's probably the way to go. We don't know if they are going to make it. Are they going to be here in the next 10 years? I don't know. We'll see. I think the Gravity is going to sell way better than this did, and I just think the price needs to come down, maybe shed some features, maybe do a slight redesign on the exterior of the car that kind of, I don't know, go after a different audience, go after a younger audience. I just think this is a big adjustment for someone who is older, and that's who the look of the car would appeal to. But that's just my opinion, and I'm just a guy on the internet. One other thing that isn't great on the vehicle, the turn signal. Listen to this. Sounds like someone's hammering one of those iron nails into the railroads or something. And the turn signal is just out of reach. So as you're sitting here in a lot of vehicles, you can take your fingers and just hit it and tap it. It's just out of reach. Now you can get it with a slight adjustment, but I just feel like they could have brought that slightly closer to the wheel, and it would have been, even a ½ inch would have done a lot. So then the question, does this car still matter in 2024? If you look at the full scope of things, I don't know. I mean, what they've done really well is the packaging of it. We've discussed that. But then you look at the used market, what a used 22 Plus Model S would cost. And it has a longer battery warranty at 8 years, 150,000 miles compared to 8 years, 100,000 miles for this. You know, this is better than a Mercedes EQ vehicle. You can't even, there's not a lot of storage in those. The back seats are weird. They're great to drive, but if you're looking for the full package, this is a better option. This is better than a BMW. Again, not great packaging there. This being designed from the ground up as an electric vehicle, I'd put it second to the Model S. I really would. I think the software has a long way to go. They as a company are probably doing everything they can to enhance the software, listen to feedback, but it does offer Apple CarPlay, which a lot of people love. A lot of people love to have that, and it has it. The build quality seems to be pretty good. I'm saying that with the experience of driving and seeing one of these. So take that with, you can't even take that with a grain of salt. It's less, maybe an atom. But yeah, it's a solid vehicle. Does it matter in 2024? I don't know, they're not selling a lot of these. So that kind of tells you everything. But then again, Tesla doesn't sell a ton of Model S's on an annual basis. So it's just a hard segment to compete in because a lot of people that can afford these don't want to mess around with electric cars. And that's just something to consider. But I think the packaging is really well done. I think a lease is a safe option because you get the federal tax credit. It's not going to cost you a ton in comparison to what it would cost to lease a 7 Series or Mercedes S-Class or Audi S8 or A8 or whatever. So I hope you guys liked this video. Thank you for watching. Now, the other company that people are saying is not going to be around for a while is Rivian. So I went and leased one, and you can watch that video right here to see what it costs and to see if that's worth it to you.